How will AI shape the future of healthcare?
Is it morally acceptable to find a cure for an incurable disease at the expense of human embryos?
How will I know whether newly developed therapies or technologies are safe for me?
How is my health and medical information being used in research?
Will it be possible to give my child a life free of disease from birth?
Who will ensure that my individual rights and welfare are protected when used in biomedical research? The BAC considers the potential ethical, legal, and social issues in the conduct of biomedical research and how that interfaces with ethical questions. On the basis of this, the BAC makes recommendations to the Singapore government about standards that should be set for biomedical research, bearing in mind the highest ethical standards that scientists are expected to observe in the conduct of their work. The BAC comprises of individuals from different backgrounds, including life sciences, medicine, law, philosophy, religion, social sciences, and the media. In making its recommendations, the BAC conducts extensive public engagements and outreach. This is to ensure that the general views of the public are taken into account when formulating recommendations. At the same time, the BAC uses this opportunity to educate about the intricacies of biomedical knowledge and new technologies so that the public can actually make meaningful contributions to the recommendations that are made.
So one of the foremost issues that the BAC sought to address when it was formed in 2000 was stem cell research. We chose stem cell research because it was one of the developing fields at the time, involving developments in stem cell biology, cloning, and research on human embryos.
Stem cells are cells that have the ability to self-renew and also can give rise to other cells that have specialized functions, such as heart muscle cells, liver cells, nerve cells, and bone cells. In addition, the study of stem cells can help us to understand how cells develop into various tissues and organs in the body. Stem cell research has tremendous benefits, especially in the area of diseases that currently do not have effective therapy. One of the most successful examples would be bone marrow transplantation. In this procedure, the diseased cells in the bone marrow are replaced by healthy cells, and this has shown to be very effective in the treatment of certain cancers like leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. We can understand how diseases occur by studying stem cells because we can see how stem cells develop and mature into tissues and organs in the body. And so when something goes wrong, then diseases will occur. The main ethical issue in stem cell research has to do with human embryonic stem cells. That's because these stem cells are derived from the human embryo. So this raises the question as to whether it is morally acceptable to use human embryos for research. In 2002, the BAC conducted extensive public consultation with religious groups, with professional bodies, with members of the public, and we also sought advice from local and international experts on stem cell research. As a result, BAC came out with recommendation that we prohibit human reproductive cloning, but allow research on stem cells with strict regulations and under ethical principles. When the BAC released its report, the government accepted its recommendations as policy, and this was passed into law under the Human Cloning and Other Prohibited Practices Act in 2005 and the Human Biomedical Research Act in 2015, and enables Singapore to be recognized as a reputable hub for scientific research.
Well, in deliberating this issue, the BAC had to balance two potentially competing concerns. The first one was protecting the rights and the welfare of individuals, including research participants. On the other hand, also balancing the ability for researchers to advance biomedical research and improve the health of Singaporeans. And together we formed certain recommendations that allowed the scientists to perform their research, yet ensuring that they conform to the highest ethical standards.
Over the past few years, the BAC has been closely monitoring international developments in the fields of life sciences and bioethics to see what emergent research agendas and issues it should pay attention to. This is to ensure that the BAC's recommendations are aligned with best international ethical practices.
Well, one of the issues that we're currently tackling is the application of big data and artificial intelligence in biomedical research. Well, big data is data about you, about people like you, in all its facets. It's your DNA data, your medical data, research data, lifestyle data, and even other data types, social network data, commerce data. It's all the data that you generate as you live your life. By being able to analyze data across large populations, researchers and clinicians will be able to identify meaningful trends that will help them to deliver healthcare in an improved way. For example, by studying the genetic profiles of tens, thousands, or millions of cancer samples, oncologists will be able to identify specific groups that will respond to particular therapies and therefore prescribe the right cancer patient with the right drug.
The concerns about individual privacy have been raised before in discussions of biomedical research, but with the advent of big data in biomedical research, new questions about individual privacy and protection of their data have been raised, together with concerns about data sharing, data ownership, system security, and governance.
Well, we're currently doing a thorough review of this particular area, drawing from both local practice but also international studies on how we can put in the necessary safeguards to ensure that this research performed in Singapore is done in a safe and ethical manner.
Biomedical research is a public good, and we are all beneficiaries of this research. Bioethics is a multifaceted field and it involves a number of different stakeholders. The BAC is committed to conducting collaborative and consultative research so as to ensure the benefit to Singaporeans, but also to make sure that the research that is conducted is aligned with societal norms and values. We all have a role to play in shaping the recommendations of the BAC, both through our professional expertise, but certainly through our personal values as well. Collectively, we can produce an ethically conscious society.